Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Raw review. Well, here we go again. I mean, I've got a few positive things to say about this show. I truly do, and if you're asking me, did I like Raw better than Money in the Bank, I guess the answer would be yes, because it wasn't 4 hours and 14 minutes. So let's start out. So we started off the show with one of the better parts of Money in the Bank, Ronda Rousey. Alexa Bliss is celebrating in the ring with Kurt Angle, and Ronda Rousey comes out and she's all business. You know, finally there was no hey ho hey smiling Ronda Rousey. You know, I've been complaining about this for months, but you know, I just don't understand how you have a famed MMA fighter, you know, a former champion in Ronda Rousey. She's known for being a badass. She changed, you know, the world of sports for women, supposedly, and there is a lot of truth to that. There was at one time when she was on every single sports media outlet, they were talking about her. I mean, she was basically the female Conor McGregor. Everybody was talking about Rousey. This girl, you know, her name was in everybody's mouth, basically. And nobody would shut up about it. Ronda Rousey, Ronda Rousey, Ronda Rousey. And it was, you know, all you heard. So, you know, you'd expect when she came to WWE that her character would greatly affect, you know, her actual personality of just being a straightforward badass in the UFC. But instead, we got this Roddy Piper wannabe smiling. And I don't have a problem with her paying ode to Rowdy Piper. That was her friend. You know, she became a wrestler. She wanted to, you know, carry on his legacy. But, you know, everything was just, like, too positive about her. You know, let's pay ode to Piper. Let's smile and wave at the fans. And I just don't get it. Like, what is she so happy about? She's happy to be there. I get that, you know. That's all right. She could smile maybe in one interview, but every time she came out there, you know, she goes into a match with Nia Jax at Money in the Bank, and you know, they're having this fierce rivalry, and then all of a sudden she comes out smiling like a goofball. Anyway, here she comes out, and she does what I'd expect. She had her game face on. She comes to the ring. Alexa Bliss starts insulting her, saying this is the WWE, not the UFC, and she just lays into her. She starts punching her on the ground. Kurt Angle grabs her by the waist, but then she does this judo flip. Kurt Angle gets flipped over her shoulder right onto his ass, and I thought that was hilarious. That was a very cool spot. And, you know, then she just went crazy. She powerbombed Alexa Bliss through the table. She looked like a badass here, and I liked every single moment of this. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted to see out of Ronda Rousey. This is why I was giving her such a hard time. This is why, you know, I was being so critical of her. I said that she wrestled a good match at Mania, didn't I? But the thing was, everything else she was doing. Now, I know that next week now she's suspended, so we aren't going to see her next week. But the next time, like, seriously, are they going to go through with this suspension? Are they really? I mean, we just had a suspension with Roman Reigns just mere months ago. Now, are we actually going to now buy more time of not showing Rousey on TV? There was like 2-3 weeks where they didn't even show her. Now we need to buy time because I knew it. They don't want to have the match at Extreme Rules. They probably want to have it at SummerSlam. So what are they going to do? They're going to suspend her. Just so they don't have to write anything else for her between Alexa Bliss and Rousey. They want to keep the story going. They probably want to have another match before that. That is ridiculous. Just have the match at the next pay-per-view, you goofballs. I know what to do. This is what the writers are saying. Let's suspend Rousey so we don't have to write anything because we're so uncreative. You've got to be kidding me. You're actually going to write in the storylines that you're going to suspend her just so you don't have to write. So you give yourselves an out. You give yourselves an excuse not to be creative. You have Ronda Rousey. This is supposed to be the hottest item, right? The big ticket right here. Most of the posters I saw for Money in the Bank was for the match of Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. And so they obviously, they didn't want to put it in the main event, but they really wanted to stress that Ronda Rousey means a lot to them. If Ronda Rousey means a lot to you, then I don't understand why, like a few weeks ago, you took a few weeks off for Rousey. Now you're going to suspend her so you don't even have to write for her? I mean, what is this? What am I looking at here? What am I watching? I'm actually watching a team that's admitting that they're lazy. They're too late. Like, she looked really good here. How are you going to follow this up next week? By not even having her there? That's how you're going to follow this up? That's really how you're going to follow it up. You're going to follow it up by not even having her there at all. That's just pure genius right there. That's pure genius. I mean, that's writing 101 right there. You know, you've got a big, exciting segment, probably one of the best I've seen in months from them. And what do? Decide not to follow up next week. Now, we'll give them the benefit of doubt, but they won't. They'll probably just be like, okay, well, she is suspended, so it's going to make sense why she's that. That is total, complete BS if I ever did see it. In the next segment, I was surprised. Dolph Ziggler beats Seth Rollins for the IC title. Why they didn't give it to Drew McIntyre is beyond me. But, I mean, then I could argue that they haven't properly built Drew up. I mean, this has been a mess with Ziggler and Drew. First, they said they were going to take over the entire WWE. Then last week, they were saying that they were going to just simply settle for the tag division. We're just going to take over the tag division. The WWE as a whole is too tall of a task, so, you know, we don't want to set our sights that high. We'll start a little bit smaller, you know, a bit more compact with the tag division. Oh, okay. So, now, they're not even going to do, they said they were going to go through the tag teams one by one. Plans have changed. Now it looks like Dolph Ziggler's back to being a singles wrestler. Now, he had Drew McIntyre in tow, but I mean, you know, he's winning the IC title now. It's a singles title. So, you know, from week to week, the game plan changes for these guys, and I'm just left scratching my head. I mean, it really is. I don't get the direction of any character on this show. It's one thing to another. You know, we're doing this, we're doing that. I don't get it. I don't even know why Drew and Ziggler have to be together. Like, seriously, like, Drew can't stand on his own. And I could say that maybe Drew is, you know, maybe they're trying to put them together to draw some heat from Ziggler. But Ziggler has no heat. And they've only, you know, they've been messing up Ziggler for year after year. I mean, honestly, if you think from 2013, since they decided to give him the title, what a wild ride it's been for Dolph Ziggler. And not wild meaning that it's been super exciting. It's been wild in the way that it's absolutely been total garbage. He wins the world title in grand fashion. He loses the title like 2 months later. Then they start throwing him down into the mid-card. You know, I mean, they've been screwing this guy over left and right year after year. I mean, he's been in the company for over a decade. You know, he's given so much, and, you know, all they do is make him look like a goof. So they gave him a win here. And, you know, I don't know where they're going to go with it, honestly. I mean, I'm happy that we don't have to hear these stupid speeches and promos by Seth Rollins week after week. You know, but he's still going to be featured prominently on the show. I mean, now we're probably going to get Seth Rollins in the world title picture, in the universal title picture. Oh, fantastic. You know, I guess this is going to be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar, I suppose. Yeah, he's going to... So, I mean, I'm not going to jump the gun here and start talking about how he loses to Dolph Ziggler. So, how are we supposed to expect this guy to beat Brock? But, you know, I'll save that for a later date when it becomes more relevant of a rant. If that actually does happen, I think it will. Bobby Roode defeated Kurt Hawkins. I'm supposed to be surprised here, I guess. The story's supposed to be that Hawkins is going to take advantage of an injured Bobby Roode because he was in the Money in the Bank match, but, he just predictably loses. And once again, I need to ask, what are we doing with Bobby Roode? I mean, honestly, could anybody, sit there and tell me, in the comments, what the plan is for Bobby Roode? You had an established guy, a guy that, quite a few of your target demographics, supposedly, which is supposed to be the smarks nowadays, they know who Bobby Roode is. But, you're having this guy dance with No Way Jose on pay-per-views. He's going nowhere fast. He's not really advancing in anything, storylines. Are there storylines? I don't think there's storylines. But you're not doing anything significant. This is a main event guy. And you're just completely dropping the ball with him in every single way. And I know you're going to say, well, Brad, they dropped the ball with everybody. And be that as it may, I mean, Bobby Roode should be probably one of the easiest ones for them to book for them to write for. He basically writes himself. The guy's a good promo. He's got a good look. He's competent in the ring. I mean, just give him something marginally acceptable to do. But they're not even going to do that. They're not even going to at least give him something decent to do. Now he's just wrestling Kurt Hawkins on Raw. It's random match after random match, random feud with Elias here. I mean, what has this guy done since being in the WWE besides winning the U.S. Championship and holding it for about a month? That's about it. I mean, this has been one of the most lackluster runs of a big name star in a very long time. Braun Strowman comes in the ring, starts cutting a promo, and we got a super awkward, I don't know what they're doing with Kevin Owens. He's carrying pancakes around in the garbage bag. He's lying, saying he doesn't eat pancakes when his physique tells us otherwise. He's scared to jump off of ladders. He's got a fear of heights all of a sudden. He comes to the ring and he tells Braun that this sounded so awkwardly worded. Let's not be friends. Maybe we could use each other. Talking like Braun is a prostitute of some sort. What? Who worded this? I mean, honestly, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I thought maybe the announcers were going to groan. I thought maybe they were purposely making Owens be cringeworthy on purpose so they could be like, oh, well, Owens is... I thought that was going to be his new gimmick now. He's going to say something and it's sort of like a pun and he doesn't even realize what he's saying, but it wasn't. No, it was supposed to be serious. He's like, we could use each other. I'm like, I just don't like this wording. I don't think it sounds good between two guys. If we're going to have a serious conversation. So to me, it was like Owens was being submissive, and I don't know. Braun, he goes to shake Braun's hand, but he won't let his hand go. He goes for the power slam, but Owens slips out. This was a mess of a segment. It really was. It was like Owens was trying to forge an alliance with Braun, but Braun didn't want to have any of it. So, they just awkwardly worded this. It went on for a very long time. And I will say at least Owens sold, that he was in the Money in the Bank match. That was something I didn't see out of Finn Balor later on tonight. And we'll talk about that later on. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated the Revival. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel got on the Titantron. And they oh, wait a minute. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated Rhino and Heath Slater. I got that wrong right there. Oh, sorry about that. But Bo Dallas and Kurt Axel get on the Titantron. and they mock Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. This was all right for what it was. It was a pretty good imitation. I think they got out of it a bit too early when Bo Dallas was like, "Screw this crap," and he threw off the beard, the fake beard, and I was like, well, okay. I was like, you going for the parody, and midway through you want to just just bail on it. But it was all right. It was attempted humor, but they like rushed through it. They could have did it a lot better than what it was. So Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt end up winning the match, and there you go. Jinder Mahal and Chad Gable have a match. Jinder Mahal comes to the ring talking about positivity, and I don't know what this is all about. To me, it's like, they want to give Jinder a gimmick now. He doesn't need a gimmick. I mean, you just don't know how to book for the guy. It's the same story with Bobby Roode. The guy looks like $1 million. He's a great promo. Look at the guy's face. Okay, they're doing another Jekyll and Hyde thing, too. He's all positive, smiling, coming down the ring. The bell rings, and he starts, doing the mean face. And, Jinder's facial expressions. This is what I'm saying. This guy is the total package. Goofballs on the internet want to knock him. They want to, say, oh, he was undeserving as champion, all that. Whatever they say, who the hell cares? This guy should be at the top. He obviously looks at the, from a promo perspective, from an aesthetic perspective, he's at the top of the pack, basically. He's doing everything he needs to do, everything that's asked of him. Why he's stuck in matches with Chad Gable and talking about positivity is beyond me. I don't know. He's supposed to be some type of DDP motivational speaker wannabe. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. To me, like I said, it shows that they're totally lost. They don't know what to do with him, much like everybody on the roster. They don't know what to do with a guy that basically should sell himself. All you got to do is just push him in the right direction, and that should be it. So he beats Chad Gable. The Riot Squad defeated Sasha Banks and Bayley. So, before the match began, backstage, they're shaking hands. Well, what is the story here? So, okay, I'll rant on it when we get through the whole thing here. So the Riot Squad beats Sasha and Bayley. Backstage, Bayley wants to talk to Sasha. Then they start brawling. Okay, and so, all right, I'll save it. They brawl backstage. Then we go to the ring. It's Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Kurt Angle is telling them that they're going to be put into a multi-man match. Lashley said that he's the only one who could beat Brock Lesnar because Roman's failed multiple times. And just thinking about this in retrospect, it is really odd. Like, that all these goofballs on the internet talk about how much Vince loves Roman Reigns. And the guy has lost all these matches to Brock Lesnar. And I'm kind of looking like, if he was the guy, then I think that they would probably have put the belt on him at Mania. Or they would have put the belt on him at the Greatest Royal Rumble. But, people will still keep saying, oh, Reigns is Vince's boy and all that. I don't think he's so much his boy anymore. That might have been the case maybe 2015 or so, but I don't know. They're keeping him at the top, but it's like they don't want Reigns really to elevate himself at all. But, I would rather have seen a one-on-one match between these two. I would think that would be the money-making match, and maybe we'll get that at SummerSlam. But, because I really think that they're going to go with Seth Rollins, sadly. So this brings out the Revival. Yet the Revival was actually in this match. I don't know why we're having this match. Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns team up. So, all of a sudden, it's like they're arguing, they don't get along. And now they want to tag together. So it was like a game of one-upsmanship. That was the deal here. Lashley ends the match with the spear. So we actually got... And Lashley does a great spear. And I will admit it, the guy that... Whoever that was, Dash Dawson or Wild, whichever guy that was, they sold that spear really well. I mean, it looked like he fucking turned the guy inside out with that spear. He just plowed right into him. He went... But the Revival just popping out of nowhere. You're holding more of the you're holding me back. You're standing in my way promo. If I don't understand, they write these things into the promos nowadays. Oh, you're holding me back. You're standing in my way. The only people standing in the way of the talent is the creative team, not the wrestlers. But they could keep on writing that these wrestlers are standing in their way. We all know it's creative being too lazy. You wanted to make like the Revival was the throwback team. This was going to be the workhorse team. This was going to be the Ole Anderson and Tully Blanchard of the modern era. But they quickly dropped the ball with that, and just kind of they faded into obscurity because they couldn't figure out what to do with them, like everybody else on the roster. Then it was Mojo Rawley defeating No Way Jose. They interviewed Mojo at the, I like this. Mojo. He said he's focused and all that. This is a big guy. They obviously could do a lot with him, but they're writing into the storyline that this guy can't stay focused. He's gonna come out there and win. So instead of writing that as a storyline, why not just do it? I don't get it. The reason why they come out there week after week and they don't get it done is because you're writing it that way. So, I don't get creative. They write it in the storylines that these guys are not getting over, basically. That's the story here with Mojo. I mean, basically, isn't that what they're saying? He's not getting over with the crowd. He's not getting over with management because, he's just not, he's not out there enough, doing enough. So, then put him out there and have him do it. It's like, I don't get it. You're writing in a storyline blaming the guy when creative is the one to blame. You've got this big tall guy, right, with a good physique. You're putting him out there, and you're just having the announcers disparage him, say, "Oh, he's not doing enough to get it done in the ring." Then backstage, we had Sasha Banks getting in her car. Bayley chases after her. They were just brawling a few minutes ago, but now they're just talking face to face again. What is going on with this storyline? Now this is what I waited for. I said, well, I want to wait to the end. So, around WrestleMania, they were doing the same thing. Brawling here, brawling there, and then, then they got, and I thought they were going to have like a match on the pre-show, but they just threw them into the Women's Battle Royal at the last minute. Okay. Then weeks later, they're tagging together like everything's fine. Now they're brawling again months later. What are they doing? Are they friends? Are they enemies? I don't know. You tell me. You're creative. I've never seen a show or anything. It's like from one week to another, people act totally differently. Like you've got them doing one thing one week, and you've got them doing a totally different thing personality-wise the next week. They're friends, they're enemies, they're enemies, they're friends, they're friends, they're enemies. Stop! Pick one! Nobody even cares anyway, but pick one for God's sakes, because I can't stand seeing this. It's like I see creative, like literally, struggling right there on my TV screen. I mean, how do they write this show like this? How does it pass? Isn't there any sort of quality control? I guess not. I mean, that when it comes before McMahon, doesn't he say this doesn't add up? I'm sorry, but none of this makes any sense. You're writing this for Bayley one week. You're writing this for Sasha the next week. Now you're going to come back around and you're going to go back to a storyline that you abandoned months ago. I mean, we're really supposed to sit here and watch this and not criticize it. Road Dogg on SmackDown, like, this is a different time. Yeah, it's a different time where everything is absolutely horrible. What does that have to do with anything? It's a different time. So it's a different time, so everything has to absolutely suck. Everything has to be nonsensical. Everything has to be inconsistent. Everything has to be poorly written and poorly created and poorly produced. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, you know, how many storylines have they abandoned? How many storylines have they, like, started out? I mean, like, people are going to say Emelina. Of course, who even cares about Emelina? You've had things even recently that have been totally inconsistent. You started off with Natalya and Ronda Rousey. That thing went out the window. I mean, like, you've got one thing, then you've got another thing going on, and then you abandon everything. Like, nothing has a conclusion. There's no beginning, middle, or end. Have these guys ever read a book before? Like, do they understand? Like, have they ever watched a movie? Do they understand what a body of work consists of? You know, do they know how to tell a story? No, they don't. Obviously not. We've been watching this for years, and it's been the same complaint. They don't know how to tell a story. It's like these are writers. These are TV writers, supposedly. Right? I don't get it. McMahon hires these people. He wanted TV writers at one point. I think he still does the same thing. And these people, even the worst sitcoms on TV, at least have a cohesive storyline. At least they've got something going on the screen where we can at least say, okay, now this is garbage, but at least it makes sense to a point. It may be goofballish, it may be stupid, but at least there's a beginning, middle, and end. You watch any WWE programming, and any type of beginning, middle, and end doesn't happen. It's just like we go right to the middle and right back to the beginning again. Well, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's like try to open a book. Just open it to any page. That's how it is in WWE. Just don't open a book. Just open it up. Read one page. What the hell's going on? I don't know. You know, then go read the front of the book. Oh, okay. And then quickly flip back to the back of the book. Well, how did we get there? I don't know. That's how it is. I mean, it's like they write page 72 before they write page 3. Elias was in the ring cutting a promo. He had a song. This was actually not a bad song that he made. It was an appeal to Kurt Angle to put him in the multi-man match so he could get a shot at Brock Lesnar. We obviously know that's not going to happen. They'll put him in the match, but he ain't going to win it. Then in the main event, it was Baron Corbin, or Constable Corbin, and Kevin Owens defeating Finn Balor and Braun Strowman here. So earlier in the night when they made this match, this is what they did. So they had Finn Balor come into the ring, come backstage in the Kurt Angle's office, say how he wants to recapture the Universal title. This brought in Owens. Owens started complaining, and Braun came in and said he's there to defend his buddy. So he beats the crap out of him in a match. Then it looks like that he almost could beat Braun. Like the very next week, Finn Balor almost like beats him with the that stupid looking stomp of his. And now they're buddies. Braun Strowman has friends. Didn't Kevin Owens just say that Braun Strowman doesn't have any friends, and then he's befriending Finn Balor? Nothing makes sense at all. They say, well, this is what I'm saying with them. They just spent 20 minutes with Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman saying how somebody needs to watch Strowman's back because he has no friends. And that's supposed to be true because he's Braun Strowman. And he doesn't need any friends. He's huge. Terrible promo, but at least it made a little bit of sense. Now he's saying that he has pals and Finn is smiling again. What is going on here? I mean, honestly, you're like telling us one thing, and then you go and you do another thing. Anyway, so Corbin and Owens get the win here. Finn is not selling a damn thing. I mean, honestly, he's flying around the ring like Money in the Bank never even happened. I mean, really? Well, that was a flat main event if I ever did see one. I mean, what was even the point of that? But there you go, guys. There's your Raw review. I really enjoyed the Rousey segment. I mean, it totally left a bad taste in my mouth how they had this great segment with her, and then they just absolutely just say, you know what? You know, we're going to follow up by not even having there for a whole month. 30-day suspension. You know, and I know that they don't have the guts to do the Stone Cold route and have, you know, Rousey try to, like, come into the building or anything like that. I mean, you know, they had her beat up also, all the referees when they came in the ring. I mean, she was on fire tonight. But creative really shows that they have no juices whatsoever to create any type of storyline to hold anybody's interest. And when something starts out like this, they just end it. They take the needle right off the record and you hear the screeching sound, and that is it. There is no rhythm. There is nothing to any type of storytelling. That's Raw, folks. There you go. There's your Raw review. And this has been your YWC champ. And I'm signing out.